I, 24 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 25, for 2 years, and we've been living together for 6 months. Everything was great until last month when his childhood friend, 23 female, moved to our city after a bad breakup. She'd been staying at our apartment temporarily while looking for a place but hasn't even started looking. She's constantly crying to my boyfriend about her ex, touching his arm when speaking, and sharing inside jokes I'm not a part of. She literally called him at 2 a.m. 3 times last week for emergencies that were just her feeling sad in the living room. The final straw came yesterday. I came home early from work with a migraine and heard them in the living room. She was sobbing about how no one will ever love her again, and my boyfriend was comforting her. Then I heard, "You're the only one who understands me," followed by, "I've always wondered what would have happened if we'd gotten together in high school." I walked in, grabbed her suitcase, packed her stuff while they stared at me, and called her an Uber. I told her she needed to leave now and find somewhere else to stay. My boyfriend started saying I was overreacting, but I said either she goes or I go. She left crying dramatically, and now my boyfriend is barely speaking to me. He says I'm heartless and jealous of a friendship that predates me. His friends are blowing up my phone, saying I'm cruel for throwing out someone who was vulnerable. But she literally was making a move on my boyfriend in our home while I was paying half the rent for her to stay rent-free. Am I the idiot for kicking her out without notice? Not the idiot. Your home is your safe space, not a pity party venue for someone making moves on your partner. His friendship disrespects your relationship and your boundaries. Your boyfriend is prioritizing her feelings over yours. That is a huge red flag. Yep. I've always wondered what would have happened if we'd gotten together in high school. Makes me wonder if the boyfriend didn't have a crush on the friend back in the day, or if something came close to happening but didn't and they remained friends. She might not just be a childhood friend, she might be the one that got away. She was staying at your place and she called your boyfriend in the middle of the night from where she was sleeping. Did he get out of your bed to comfort her in her so-called emergency? Honestly, I think your boyfriend is the bigger issue here. I agree, kicking the friend out actually does nothing. If her becoming single now stirs up feelings for him, then that's what it does. If he chooses to act on those feelings, then that's his choice. There's not a lot OP can do about his choices or his feelings. She's now given him an ultimatum, she goes or I go. Now he's going to think that through. She may have just sped up the inevitable. If the friend was going to come between them, then it's got very little to do with OP actually. Their relationship is either what he wants, regardless of what the friend might say or do, or it's always been what he went with because he couldn't have what he really wanted. No offense, I'd be sitting down with ex-boyfriend discussing who's moving out. That witch left her city to specifically travel to and stay with OP's ex, contributes nothing financially and has undertaken no effort to find another place. Respond to her friends that they're most welcome to take her in, free of charge. Bottom line, OP, is that he didn't have your back and at a minimum was emotionally cheating on you. I, 44 male, am marrying Amber, 35 female, fake name, next weekend. On Friday, I got a call from my youngest sister Luna, 34, fake name, asking if I could pick her up from the hospital as her husband was working. Her job can be physical and she's extremely outdoorsy and active, so her calling to be picked up from the hospital isn't unusual. When I arrived to pick up Luna, she was a bit of a mess, covered in blood, and when she smiled, she was missing a tooth at the front. Turns out she'd come off her bike and smashed her face on the pavement. She's knocked out a tooth, got a fracture to her wrist, grazes and cuts all over, including her face, and had broken her nose with some awful-looking bruising around her eyes, which has now come up. Luna's fine, just annoyed she can't ride her bike and needs to rest. She did ask me not to tell Amber, which I thought was weird. When I told Amber that Luna was hurt, she asked if any of Luna's injuries would affect the wedding. I said Luna had a fracture to her wrist, so she might have to carry her flowers differently and might find having makeup applied uncomfortable as she'd broken her nose. Amber told me I needed to tell Luna she couldn't be a bridesmaid anymore. I disagreed as I don't want Luna to be the only sibling excluded, especially over a broken nose. Amber said that she didn't want wedding pictures like Luna's, she wanted pictures she could be proud of. In Luna's wedding pictures, she got a busted lip because she got punched at work a couple of days before her wedding, and her husband had a cut on his forehead from headbutting a table during his bachelor party the weekend before the wedding. You don't see the injuries in those pictures straight away, you see how happy they are. Amber then told me that she'd told Luna that if she had any injuries to her face in the run-up to the wedding, then Amber was going to make Luna just a guest. I told her I wouldn't tell Luna that she couldn't be in the wedding party over a broken nose. Amber's gone to stay at her sister's as she's angry at me choosing Luna over her and our wedding. Her sister has messaged me saying that Amber's considering cancelling the wedding because I'm not on board with her vision for our wedding, and said that I'm being an idiot for not prioritising Amber and her feelings. She also said that Luna knew what the consequences of getting hurt so close to the wedding would be. Am I the idiot for not wanting to remove my sister from the wedding party over a broken nose? Have to ask, if you fell over the day before the wedding, would she remove or replace you too? Not the idiot. If she calls it off, you know you dodged a bullet. Imagine if your sister had backed out first due to that earlier request, you might not know how shallow your partner is. My thoughts as well. OP, your fiancé's priorities speak volumes. Please listen. Let her call off the wedding because the pictures won't meet her vision. Then let her explain to everyone why she called it off. She's doing you a favour. She won't tell anyone why she called it off if she does. Amber will create a story where she'll be the victim and OP the idiot. After all, appearances are everything to her. OP, your extremely materialistic fiancé realises the photos can be edited, right? If she just wants an Instagram wedding and she doesn't care who's there to fill the slots. Beware of people who care more about appearances than actual quality. They tend to be self-centered and make terrible partners in the long run. She's also starting off your marriage on a sour note, and she doesn't even seem to care. You'll be living with this woman for the rest of your life. Choose wisely. This may be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but everyone's the idiot here, because it sounds like your sister has such a pattern of reckless behaviour that she frequents the ER, and this was actually a conversation your fiancé felt compelled to address prior to this injury, as in she literally told her, if you get messed up prior to the wedding, you might have to be a guest. Your sister, in all her accident-prone glory, decided that that conversation wasn't a priority to her and made the decision to be fancy on her bike and ate crap. I'm sure a good photographer can do a lot these days to fix photos, but from this backstory I can't immediately jump on the "she's clearly a bridezilla" bandwagon here. I feel like she probably saw this coming and is just frustrated. Update: my brother-in-law is not hurting Luna, nor is she doing it for attention. She works in private security. She got punched before her wedding day, breaking up a fight. I was there when my brother-in-law cut his forehead. I saw him headbutt the table and I went with him to the hospital. When she had her cycling accident, she was wearing her gear, had her helmet on, but she hit a steep curb after swerving because someone opened their car door into the road without looking. Before this, her last hospital trip and accident was just before Christmas when she broke her foot after dropping a kettlebell on it. Last year, that accident should have made me realise about Amber, and she was upset that all the pictures that had Luna in them from our family Christmas, Luna had a boot on her foot. According to Amber, it was distracting in her pictures, and there were a few comments on it on Amber's Instagram when she posted the pictures. I've messaged Amber and she's coming around this afternoon, and we're going to have a talk. My husband, age 45, and I, 41 female, have been together for 18 years. He's a government employee and holds a good job, while my job doesn't pay as well but allows me to balance out everything that needs support with our 4 children. I'm well educated, but when our oldest daughter was diagnosed with autism, we decided I wouldn't work or work part-time so she could receive the intensive therapies she needed. I've always known he's not overly sentimental or romantic, and for the most part it hasn't bothered me. We have 4 kids, so I haven't had a lot of time to dwell. I've recently been facing some medical issues, so I feel like I'm not in a great headspace, hence why I've hit up Am I the Idiot? I recently went to my annual mammogram and got a call that they found a spot that was concerning due to size and shape and asked me to come in for an ultrasound. I called him immediately, which I never call him at work, and told him what was found, and I explained that I needed to go to an ultrasound at the end of the week and I needed him to take off the morning so I could go to my appointment or see if his parents could help. They live 2 blocks away. The day before my ultrasound, my husband tells me he can't take the time off work, he's busy, and that I'll need to reschedule because his mom and dad don't want to get up that early. I had an 8 a.m. appointment, so a 7:30 check-in time. I was floored and upset. A friend of mine came to the rescue. At the ultrasound, they found that it was a tumour and I needed a biopsy. It was scheduled for the following week. I called my husband and told him that I needed a biopsy and asked if he could take the day off because I was told, due to local anaesthesia, that it would be best to have someone drive me. He told me he couldn't take time off and it was my problem to deal with. I called my parents who live 8 hours away and my mom drove in, dropped me off for the biopsy, hung out with my kids, ages pre-tween and young teen, and then picked me up. My phone was in my purse the whole time, so I didn't see the message my husband sent until I got home. Not thinking about you, not sorry I can't be there. He said he wasn't worried about my biopsy because he had good life insurance. My mom wasn't happy, nor was I. My mom tried brainstorming things like he was scared and couldn't express it, he was fearful of hospitals, etc., not to defend him, but to see if we could see things from a different angle. This would be fine, except I've seen him stay at hospitals with ill parents over the years, faithfully visiting his mom 10 days in a row after a surgery, take off work to take his parents to eye appointments, and even take his dad to the emergency room and sit with him after he needed a tetanus shot. He didn't hesitate to take off work for them, but not to stay with our kids or drive me. Last month I was referred to get a second opinion at a university hospital 2 hours away. I told him my family couldn't help again and that he needed to step up. So he took a personal day and told me to go alone. I arrived and it turns out I'm scared of enclosed spaces for the MRI. It became a long appointment because I had to take a sedative, which wasn't anticipated, but it was necessary. I got the results back a few days ago and thankfully I have a non-cancerous tumour and I'm being monitored for the next year. You all know this, he does not. He was not happy that my appointment took all day and he's yet to ask me about the results. I finally said something to him about it today and he just said, "I figured nothing was wrong or you'd have told me." I'm angry, hurt, feeling very alone, and as I look around at my kids, I'm sad for them too. I've had a lot of driving time and now realise how not involved he is in any of our lives. He doesn't attend any school or health appointments for our daughter or other kids. He doesn't attend extracurricular events like dance recital, Girl Scout awards or parents' nights at school. He has tons of time off work. He works 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. I've been so involved raising our kids in the world of raising a child with a disability, it's like I had blinders on. He says he doesn't do those things because he's tired, he never gets a break, someone always wants something, etc. But the kids are getting older and now becoming self-aware of his absence, especially when they see him going to the gym 5 times a week, going out to dinner with his family, or going golfing. Over the years, he's told me I'm overreacting, that he makes triple what I make, it's true he does, so it's expected that I do more at home, but right now it feels very heavy and lonely, and I feel like I need a partner's support. Whenever I bring things up, he makes me feel like I'm wrong, but today I feel like he is the idiot. I recognise it's been an emotional roller coaster, so am I the idiot? He said he wasn't worried about my biopsy because he has good life insurance. He quite literally told you that it would be fine if you died because he could fill your vacancy with a pile of money. He doesn't love you. He doesn't even like you. It also sounds like he neither loves nor likes your shared children. It's likely the only reason he isn't being honest about any of the above is that he'd either have to find someone else to keep the house and look after the kids if you leave, or part with a big chunk of his paycheck and find a new place to live if he leaves, and he doesn't want the expense and inconvenience that would bring. Calling your husband an idiot, though, well, that would be disrespectful to idiots. Are you serious right now? You're not the idiot, but please stop wondering if you are. Start wondering why you're tolerating someone who treats you like a disposable housekeeper with a uterus and a will. You deserve better. Your kids deserve better, and it's not too late to choose that. I gotta say that good life insurance line floored me. Her husband is absolutely the sort of man who has no qualms about abandoning his wife when she's sick and replacing her with a shiny new one at the first available opportunity. Ugh. Trust me, OP, your kids will remember not only his absence from them, but his utter lack of caring for their mother. And yes, I know in all likelihood you haven't said a word they could hear, but they do have eyes. They not only see his crappy parenting and partnering, they can feel it. Instill in your kids how important it is to be there and be present for their own partners and kids. He is royally messing around, and someday he's going to be shocked when he finds out. I, 31 female, found out 2 months ago that my husband, 33, was having an affair with a woman from his gym. I noticed changes. Guarding his phone, hitting the gym twice a day, suddenly caring about how he looked all the time. He even started acting oddly nice to me, like overcompensating. Eventually I found the messages. Not just flirty, not just emotional, but a full-blown affair. Pictures, videos, dates. It crushed me. But I didn't confront him right away. I did some digging and found out she was also engaged. Her wedding is in 3 months. So I made a choice. I reached out to her fiancé. I sent screenshots of the messages and offered to answer his questions. He was heartbroken but thankful I told him. When I finally confronted my husband, he was livid not just because I found out, but because I dragged someone else into it. He said what happened was a mistake. Now I'd ruined 2 relationships, not just our own. His family is furious, saying I had no right to interfere in another couple's life. Even a few friends told me it was petty and I should have focused on my own marriage instead of seeking revenge. But I honestly didn't do it out of revenge. I did it because if I were in that man's shoes, I'd want to know. So I'm now filing for divorce, my life is in pieces, and somehow I'm the villain in other people's eyes. Am I the idiot for telling my husband's affair partner's fiancé about their relationship? Not the idiot. Your ex-husband interfered in another couple's life, and he'd ruined 2 relationships, not you. That person deserved to know. Having a marriage built on lies to begin with is no bueno. You saved that person from a lot of heartache and wasted emotional energy. Absolutely this. OP didn't destroy anything. She revealed what was already happening in the dark. Choosing honesty over silence isn't vindictive, it's courageous. That fiancé deserved the truth just as much as OP did. If more people had the guts to be honest like this, fewer people would waste years in relationships built on lies. OP, you did the right thing, even if others are too uncomfortable with the truth to admit it. OP, let me tell you a story. I was happily, I thought, married for 15 years. I found out through a very crazy set of circumstances that my husband had cheated on me, had a full-blown affair that lasted for 4 months during our 3rd year of marriage. I was absolutely crushed, and what made it worse was that the people who knew about it, being a co-worker of his and the affair partner's fiancé, never told me. It made me question my entire marriage, and I look back on everything and don't know what was real and what was a lie. That secret destroyed my memories and trust in ways I can never get back. When the affair happened, we didn't have kids. We went on to have 3. While I adore my kids and can't imagine a life without them, I also know how much they were affected by the divorce and the spiral it sent me into. I wish so much that I knew about his affair when it happened, because finding out later hurt so much more. Also, I found out he was having another affair when I found out about the first. So it's not like this was a one-time mistake. It rarely is. Absolutely. Girl, anyone who says you've done wrong needs to be blocked. It wasn't revenge. It was informing the other victim. Your ex-husband is wrong and shifting blame that belongs only to him and his affair partner. As for your friends, I don't know what they're talking about, but I think you need better friends. I'd laugh in their faces anytime they tried to say anything. Literally laugh and say, "Shame on you," repeatedly. You are 100% not the idiot. I'm so sorry they did this to you.